I'm going to say in this video a few of the things that I would love to say in court on July the 4th this year, 2018, but will undoubtedly be denied the opportunity to say. This is in part a plea for help, aimed at YouTubers who hopefully will publicise a legal case which I am involved with. This is also a good opportunity to warn members of the public not to engage in certain activities that, though perfectly legal, will result in you going to prison. I am representing a friend appealing against an ASBO which, if allowed to stand, will allow South Yorkshire Police to arrest and imprison my friend for anything they deem to be offensive to Muslims. This includes, but is not restricted to, him encouraging or permitting a third party to possess an England flag. The police refuse to be drawn on what the prohibitions of the ASBO really mean. We can only speculate based on the past conduct when using the same ambiguous wording as we see in this ASBO. If they were specific in their demands of him, then he would be able to avoid being arrested, and they don't want that. I witnessed the defendant, Mr. Banks, ask for a clarification of the prohibitions during an interim hearing. I witnessed the judge angrily telling him that the prohibitions were perfectly clear. The words "clear as mud" then escaped from my mouth at the risk of being hit with contempt of court. He represented himself at the interim hearing, with my sitting in as an advisor. I will hopefully be speaking on his behalf at the full hearing. The judge knew full well that it is the right of the defendant to fully understand what he is prohibited from doing. It is, according to the CPS, the responsibility of the court to ensure he knows what he is prohibited from doing. The judge simply flouted the law because there was no jury and there is no journalistic oversight. They can quite literally do whatever they want. By way of a quick example, item 3A in his prohibitions is, and I quote, using words or gestures or engaging in any conduct which expresses racial or religious hatred. Regrettably, we fear the police interpret this as meaning such things as telling fellow infidels what it says in the Quran, or telling voters how dishonest and treacherous South Yorkshire Police are. I will include a speech my friend gave in Rotherham at the end of this video. I want you to look really hard at that speech and try to figure out why this would be seen as a criminal matter by South Yorkshire Police. It is described as follows by them. 25th of the 2nd, 2017, Banks gave a speech at an EDL demonstration at Rotherham. His speech has an angry tone and is anti-Islamic in nature. In my previous statement, I exhibited a copy of the disc containing footage of the speech as Exhibit JFM/1. Okay. The first problem with that description is that it is described as anti-Islamic in nature. When you look at the speech, you'll find he never gets around to mentioning Islam at any point. Therefore, that is one example of perjury by the prosecution, proven to be perjury by their own evidence. It's not the only example of perjury proven by their own evidence in this case. I can point it out in court. The judge, if he allows me to speak, can see quite clearly that what I am saying is true. But there's no jury, and the press are pro-Islamic, so the judge can simply smirk at me and pretend to not understand or to not believe me. It is that bad. That's exactly how it is. His speech is mainly a speech about the failings of South Yorkshire Police, and also criticises other parts of the establishment such as child protection services and politicians. Before I play you this speech, which is item 5 on Mr. Banks' schedule of behaviour, I would like to point out a couple of other items very quickly as a warning to others. Items 4 and 6 on his schedule are his sending letters to the Archbishop of York. If you send a letter to the Church of England where you criticise Islam, they will contact the police and it will be logged as an anti-social behaviour. Could everyone please stop writing letters attempting to lobby bishops and politicians? They already know how dangerous Islam is. That's why they are so afraid of it and so eager to be seen fighting on the same side as it. By all means lobby church-goers directly, but stay the hell away from the church. The Catholic Church is just as bad. Definitely lobby voters, but please stay the hell away from politicians. You are causing them alarm and distress in the view of the courts, and there is no jury to save you from this patently absurd claim of victimhood that they will assert if you give them a letter to use against you. On paper, they are alarmed and distressed by your letter. In reality, they are gleeful at the opportunity to ring the police and show all around them that they have helped punish a troublemaker. Some of them realise full well just how evil Islam is, but many are clueless, and their rationale for opposing you is as follows. They understandably fear the anger of Muslims. They have been told that the anger of Muslims is because of your criticism of Islam. So simply ending your freedom of speech and throwing you in prison seems like a small price to pay for their safety and for community cohesion. They have convinced themselves that if they imprison enough Islamophobes, they can end divisiveness and the Muslims will become non-threatening. The aim of the ASBO is not merely to stop a speaker from attending anti-Islamic demos. We have no problem replacing Mr. Banks as a speaker. The aim of this incessant persecution of him is to act as a deterrent to the rest of us. The more of us spring up to replace those who are arrested, the less enthusiastic they will be to punish us for speaking the truth in future. Anyway, here's his speech.
Investigation for letting down the victims of child grooming in this town. You officers are only the tip of the iceberg. You need to read this book, Easy Meat. This documents how the social services, the councils, the chief police officers, MPs and everybody have covered up the rape of our children since 1988.